Hi guys, welcome to my Series 2 Soul Urge Relationship Compatibility. Previously I was putting these two videos together. I was putting the development video on the Life Path 3 development on the same video as the Soul Urge 3 Relationship Compatibility. But then I realised that, Life Path 3s aren't necessarily Soul Urge 3s. And if you're a Soul Urge 3, you'd have to watch or like fast forward the Life Path 3 stuff before you could get to the compatibility stuff. So I've split them into two videos this time for ease. Life Path and Soul Urge 1 and 2 I did as one whole video, but all subsequent videos I'm going to be doing them separately. Okay, so this is my Soul Urge 3 relationship compatibility. Now, if you do not know what your Soul Urge number is, I'm going to be putting a video in the description box, which tells you not only how to work out your life path number, your birthday number, also your soul urge number, because that is the most important number when it comes to your relationship compatibility. Okay, so watch that video on how to work out your soul urge number, and then you'll be able to see how you fit with other soul urges and what you can do to help those relationships to flourish. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so your Soul Urge 3. Your compatibility in relationships, if you're a Soul Urge 3, depends on whether your partner shares your creative vision, because Soul Urge 3s are very into developing, like working, doing their own thing, for want of a better word, developing their own creativity in their own way. So to be in a relationship with a Soul Urge 3, it needs to be with someone who shares your creative vision and your urge for fun and spontaneity and socializing. Unfortunately, the Soul Urge 3 often looks around for excitement in other areas if they're finding that their relationship isn't fun enough for them. It needs to be wild and passionate for you if you're a Soul Urge 3, unfortunately. So sometimes the Soul Urge 3 does have the urge to look elsewhere if they're in a relationship. Because of this, the Soul Urge 3 may have many different relationships within their lifetime. All of these different experiences will then teach you a lot about yourself. Okay, so the numbers most compatible with a 3 Soul Urge are the 7, the 5, the 6 and the 9, and the least compatible is another 3, which is quite what's the word, it's quite rare. Normally if you're the same Soul Urge as someone, that's a good thing, but with a 3 it can be good, but it can also be quite disastrous, as you'll see when I speak to you about the 3 and the 3 together. So your compatibility as a Soul Urge 3 is it has to be someone that shares your creative vision, that likes to socialize or likes your ability to socialize, loves to have fun, likes to keep the relationship exciting and fresh. And then, that's a way the Soul Urge 3 thrives in a relationship. But the Soul Urge 1's compatibility in relationship depends how their Soul Urge 1 is being achieved in other areas of their life. The 1 likes to lead in love. Okay, they like to be the one that makes the decisions, which can be a bit of a sticky wicket for a 3 because they really don't like being told what to do, and be the one in control. Okay, and that's something that the Soul Urge 3 may allow, but they may not. Okay, but if you are in a relationship, if you're a Soul Urge 3 and you're in a relationship with a 1, if you understand the Soul Urge 1's need to be in control and to be the leader, it might make you a little bit more compassionate maybe to their needs, and maybe let them sometimes take control and make decisions. Or if you don't want to do that, maybe being in a relationship with a Soul Urge 1 isn't the best thing for you. But that's something for you to ruminate about. Okay, the Soul Urge 1 has a need for independence, so they will need to break away from the relationship to do their own thing, which can work really well for a Soul Urge 3 because they need their space too. So the Soul Urge 1's need for independence and time away, and the 3's ability, or the 3's need to go off and express their own creativity. It could be a good thing in your relationships because nobody wants to be in each other's pockets all the time. So both your needs to break away and have time alone, allow that for each other because it will keep your relationship healthy, okay, for you both to have your time for your own thing, okay. They need enough freedom to follow their own path, both of you, okay. The soul urge one wants their relationships to be exciting as well. So the 3 and the 1 could be amazing together in keeping their relationship exciting and passionate, okay. Need I say more? The numbers most compatible with the 1 are the 4, the 8 and the 9 soul urge energy, they say. But I think the 3 is compatible as well. They just say that the 4, the 8 and the 9 are the most compatible. But I think the 3 and the 1 are a great couple together as long as they understand each other. As long as the 3 and the 1 both allow each other space. As long as the 3 allows the 1 to lead sometimes, and the 1 allows the 3 to socialize and doesn't mind if they socialize, then you could be a great couple. Because as I forgot to mention, soul urge 1 isn't as social as the 3. But if you're a soul urge 1 and you understand the 3's need for that, there's no reason why you couldn't be a compatible couple. Okay, soul urge 3 with the soul urge 2. Now remember, the soul urge 3 needs excitement and the partner needs to share their creative vision, most importantly. The soul urge 2 energy needs relationships more than any other number. And they want connection and emotional intimacy. Sometimes they can want that intimacy more than a soul urge 3 wants to give them. Okay, and the soul urge 2 can sometimes come across a bit needy in the relationship because it's their soul urge to be around people and to be in relationships and to connect with others. And sometimes the soul urge 3 loves that, and sometimes they need their space to break away from that. So the soul urge 2 needs to understand the 3's need for space to develop their own creativity. And then the 3 will have to understand the soul urge 2's need for connection and make time for them in intimate, connected relationships. If you understand each other in that way, again, there's no reason why both these soul urges cannot exist together happily. So to go over again, the soul urge 2 needs relationships. They, more than any other number, they need connection, they need emotional intimacy, they're extremely loyal, extremely committed, and they often put others' needs ahead of themselves. This could be a bit of a sticky wicket, is because if you put the soul urge 3's needs first, they will take that. And it could end up that the soul urge 2 ends up being in service to the 3 and making more effort than the 3. As long as the 3 realizes that and makes sure him or her gives the soul urge 2 the attention in the relationship that the soul urge 2 needs, then it can be a good relationship. There is a snag that the soul urge 3 may look around for more excitement in their relationship. The soul urge 2 might not necessarily be as exciting as maybe a 1 or a 5. So the soul urge 3 will need to keep in mind that there is that possibility that they may look outside the relationship if it's not fresh and exciting enough for them. Okay. The soul urge 3 is very much the peacemaker. They hate conflict. They hate like heavy emotions, and they avoid conflict like the plague, and they will always mediate the situation. And the 3 can be quite emotionally explosive. So it's important that that situation is dealt with, and that the soul urge 2 is not being overshadowed by the strong emotions of the 3, and that the relationship is equal. Okay, so the 2 can be a bit possessive and jealous of the 3, and this can make the 3 rebel and like go further away from the relationship and socialize with other people and maybe not, and hurt the 2's feelings at times. But again, if the soul urge 3 understands the soul urge 2's need for intimacy, and they can live with the fact that it might not always be the most exciting, thrilling relationship, as not all relationships are, and they're willing to commit to their soul urge energy 2 partner and not make them feel like rubbish and not be emotionally explosive. And for the soul urge 2, you need to give the soul urge 3 some space. You can be quite possessive only because you want to connect and you want that intimacy. But remember, you do need to let them have their own space. Okay, that's important. So the 3 soul urges most compatible with the 7, the 5, the 6 and the 9, but not so much with any other, the 3 and the 5. Okay, moving on. Okay, the 3 and the 3 together now. So these 2 soul these 2 soul urges together have the potential to be great or totally and completely disastrous. Okay. You both, if you both share similar interests and similar creative visions, you can work very well together, because you will spend a lot of time together because you both share the same creative vision. You can work very well. You will keep your relationship exciting because you both want that in your relationship, as soul urge 3s do like. However, if you both have very different creative interests, like I've seen quite a lot in others, one is creative in computers and one's an artist, they could be like ships passing in the night while one dude does his own thing and the other one does her own thing. You're not only that, you're both emotional sponges. So if one of you comes back really angry or upset or negative, the other one's going to pick that straight up and it could cause explosive arguments. But on the other side of it, if one of you's really happy and jovial, that will absorb into the other one and you can have an amazing time and great social times. So it's very either great or sometimes it can be complete disaster. Okay, so you could react to each other's emotions. You're both very emotional beings, so you have the potential to be explosive, have explosive arguments, but also have intense passion. Okay, so 2 3s that have got the same creative energy, 2 3s that share each other's creative vision, and they keep their relationship exciting and they socialize together and they bounce off each other. That could be a great relationship. But 2 different creative energies can be quite difficult, and where you can both keep your relationship exciting, it can be quite explosive in your arguments. So again, it's the way you understand each other, and whether you share each other's interests or not will decide on whether both of these soul urges will be compatible together. Okay, soul urge 3 with the 4. So the soul urge 4 is very, very committed, okay, and loyal, and they care deeply for the well-being of their family and their community, okay. For the soul urge 4, their family and their love life is about strength and creating a safe, secure place for them to grow and develop. The 4 is the provider, the hard worker, but they sometimes attract people who need to be supported, and that can be quite a snag for a soul urge 4. So the 4 can be vulnerable to being taken advantage of in relationships. It's important for the 4 to keep a balance. Be careful of expressing your controlling tendencies. And because the 3 has their own creative vision and they can be quite scattered and social and airy-fairy, they can often challenge the 4's need for security. And if the 4 isn't necessarily the soul urge 4 isn't necessarily the most exciting of soul urge numbers, and there is the potential for the soul urge 3 to not be happy with the amount of passion or excitement in the relationship, to go outside the relationship, which will then rock the soul urge 4's world because their whole stability has been crushed. Okay, that's the negative side of it. However, on the positive, the soul urge 4 can give the 3 the stability they need, and the 3 can give the 4 that positivity and camaraderie that they need, because the soul urge 4 can be quite serious at times, and they will quite they're very serious and organised and goal orientated and on the button and this, then this, then this. And the soul urge 3 can give them a little bit of fun and camaraderie in their life. Don't do that today. Let's go out and do something really silly or exciting, or, let's just go out and have a laugh. The 3 has the potential of bringing that kind of camaraderie into the 4's life, and the 4 brings that security into the 3's life. So again, if both these numbers understand each other, they do have the potential to do well in their relationship. The numbers most compatible with the 4 are the 1, the 6, the 8, and the 11. But that's not to say that the 4 and the 3 can't be, even though it says the 3 and the 5 are the least compatible. Yeah, they can have difficulties, definitely, because the 3 and the 5 do not give the soul urge 4 the security that they desire. The soul urge 4 would have to create that security themselves, because the 3 and the 5 are not going to do that for them. However, they do have the potential, if they see the positive in each other, I think, to create a relationship that works. The 5, again, the soul urge 3 and the 5, both very fun-loving numbers. Okay, so the 5 soul urge number, however, finds committing to a relationship difficult. So both numbers have the potential to go outside the relationship, especially the 5, to be honest. They often quickly lose interest in any relationship that they're in, and they just want to move on to the next thing, the next new adventure, the next new journey. So the soul urge 5 needs a partner who allows them that freedom, because the confines of the relationship can prove too much for a 5. Now the 3 would be able to give that kind of freedom, because the 3 like their own freedom too. So, the 3 will be able to offer the 5 that freedom that they desire. Okay, so this could be a very, very positive relationship. If the 5 is honest about their needs and they want to commit, there's no reason why they cannot be in a strong relationship with any number or a 3. Okay, so you've got the 3 who wants to express their creativity. And if the 3 and the 5 share a creative vision, it's possible they could work really well together. However, it's going to be more likely that the 3 and the 5 will sometimes be together, and other times they'll be going off doing their own thing. But you have to allow each other that freedom. That's really important for both of you. Okay, but the soul urge 3 needs to be aware that soul urge 5 will find it difficult to commit and stay in a monogamous relationship, because they have this soul urge to move on, to look for adventure, to look for new things, to travel, to search for the fresh, the innovative, the experience, trying new things. And the soul urge 3 likes their own space to be creative and to be involved in their own creative endeavors. And they also have the tendency to maybe look outside the relationship. But the 3 is less likely to do with that with an exciting 5, because you'll never be bored with a 5. So the 5 will be able to bring the excitement that the 3 needs. And I think the 3 would be much less likely to go outside a relationship if they're with a soul urge 5. Okay, so the soul urge 5, I think, would be good for a 3. But the 3 will always need to understand that the 5 may struggle to commit to them and stay monogamous or stay faithful. Okay, that's just the nature of the soul urge 5. But they are the 5's most compatible numbers are the 3, another 5, the 7, and the 9. So the 3 and the 5 are completely and very compatible numbers, and they could do really well together. Okay, so if you're in a relationship, if you're a 3 and you're in a relationship with a 5, keep in mind that they may find a commitment difficult, and that doesn't mean be possessive over them or always be worrying about what they're doing, because if you do that, you will push them away. Okay, just make sure you give each other your own freedom, and the relationship will stay fresh and exciting. The soul urge 3 with the soul urge 6. Now, the soul urge 6 is caring and generous, very generous partner. They have loads of love to give. They're very emotional and very passionate. Okay, that's what they want to have ultimately. The 6 is romantic and loving, with an innate understanding of what their partner is feeling. They desire nothing more than a happy family life. They're committed. They're prepared to work hard in a relationship. The 6 needs a partner who wants a long-term partnership, but they can hold the domestic fort if their partner needs more freedom. So this could work. So if the Soul Urge 3 wants their time alone to pursue their creative pursuits, the Soul Urge 6 can be quite good at being able to give them that freedom and holding the fort while they do so. However, the 3 can be a bit scattered, social and airy-fairy and keep wanting to go off. And the 6 wants a little bit more connection than that. They want the intimacy. They want the love, like the Soul Urge 2. So sometimes they can feel like the 3 isn't giving them enough attention. And the 3 needs to be aware of that, as well as the 6 needs to be aware of the 3's need for freedom. So if the 3 understands their 6 partner's need for love and affection and a family, and they go with that, and the 6 understands the 3's need for creative freedom, and they allow them time to express themselves in their own way, they can both come together very well. The numbers most compatible with the 3 are the 3, the 4 and the 9. The least compatible are the 1 and the 8. But that's not to say that a Soul Urge 3 and a Soul Urge 6 can't be good together. You're both very passionate and emotional people, and you can end up in arguments, very much so, but the 3 might shout down the 6 quite a lot. Remember, the 3 needs excitement. The 3 needs fun. The 3 needs space to express their creativity. Okay. The 6 needs a love. They need a committed family life, and they're prepared to work hard for that. Okay. So as long as the 3 understands their 6's need for this family, this strong family life, this nurturing side to their personality, and the 6 understands the 3's need for their own space, and they can accommodate each other, again, there is no reason why the Soul Urge 3 and the Soul Urge 6 can't have a good relationship. As long as I think the only snag that I can foresee is the Soul Urge 6 may not provide the 3 with the fresh excitement and change that the 3 desires. So there is always the potential for the 3 to go outside the relationship to look for the fun, the excitement and the freedom that the 6 doesn't provide for so much, because they're more into the home and the nurture and the looking after the people in the community. So there is that risk that could happen. The 3 with the 7. Now, the 7 Soul Urge is really only compatible with partners that understand them. So the Soul Urge 3 would have to understand the Soul Urge 7, which can be a difficulty. Close relationships can be a bit of a struggle for Soul Urge 7s because emotional intimacy doesn't come naturally to them. So they may struggle to express themselves emotionally, and the Soul Urge 3 expresses their arse off emotionally. So it could be that the Soul Urge 3 is always expressing themselves and the Soul Urge 7 sits there quietly waiting for him or her to stop. The Soul Urge 7 is not so social, but the Soul Urge 3 is. So they both need their time apart, because the Soul Urge 7 likes time on their own. They like time to sit quietly and ruminate and think about the meaning of life and to develop themselves spiritually. They need someone in their life that offers them the mental stimulation that they need. So if the 3 and the 7 have no shared interests, the 7's going to get a bit bored with the 3 and is not going to want to spend a huge amount of time with them. And if the 3 thinks the Soul Urge 7 is boring and all they do is sit quietly and do nothing and they never want to go out and socialise, this could be a bit of a problem for the 3 and the 7. The 3 needs space. The 7 can give them that because they like space. The 3 needs creative expression, and socialization, which is something that the 7 may or may not be able to provide for them. The 3 may find that the 7 sometimes doesn't want to socialize, but the 3 does. So the 3 end up going out on their own, and then, you know, if they're not finding the relationship so exciting, they could potentially go outside the relationship. And the 7, I'm not sure half the time whether the 7 really needs a relationship in their life all the time. They might be quite blasé about the situation, and they'd rather be on their own anyway. It depends on the person, especially if that 3 doesn't mentally stimulate the 7. Okay, so these 2 numbers can potentially be like ships passing in the night, because the 7 isn't that bothered and the 3 just wants freedom and socialization. Okay, so that can be a snag for the pair of them. But again, if you understand each other, if the 7 understands the 3's need for socialization and freedom and creative expression, and the 3 understands the soul urge 7's need for solitude, rumination, and understands that they won't always want to go out and party and hang with people, then there's no reason why you can't work together. But you might not be all that close. Okay, so you may need to expect that sometimes that you're not going to be all that emotionally close. Okay, the numbers most compatible with the 7 are the 4, the 5, and the 7 and the 11. Least compatible apparently are the 3, the 6, and the 8. So as I said, this could be quite a difficult relationship, but again, if you understand each other, there is no reason why 2 numbers can't live together happily. The soul urge 8. So the soul urge 8 compatibility in relationships will depend on whether the soul urge 3 shares their creative vision. Okay, I've left 2 there. I should have put 3. Didn't check that through well enough, did I? Naughty, naughty. Whether the soul urge 3 shares their vision to succeed in life. Okay, the 3 wants success. They're very much into the finances, into the material possessions, and they really want to succeed in life. Okay, the 8 puts their career first and their relationship needs second. Making a relationship with a 3 potentially difficult, I don't know, because the 3 likes their space too. So again, the soul urge 8's need to prioritize their career, and the soul urge 3's focus on themselves and their own creative expression can make them both, again, like ships passing in the night. What the 8 needs to think about is, after you've got the money and the fame and the power that your soul urge 8 desires, what does it mean without someone to share it with? Okay, but the 3, you know, they need someone that's exciting, someone that shares their creative vision. Now, if the soul urge 8 is into the same things as the soul urge 3, the soul urge 8 could help 3 develop their passion into a business and really help them to develop. So they'd be great business partners, because the 8 would support the 3 and they would probably be great business partners together. But in a relationship, I don't know so much, because I don't think the 8 would be exciting enough for the 3. And I think the 3 would be a little bit scattered and irresponsible for the 8. But again, as I've said, with all the compatibilities, you know, it can all work as long as you understand each other. As long as the 3 understands the soul urge 8's need to put their career first, their need to focus on money and success. They may be a bit of a workaholic. And if the soul urge 8 understands the 3's ability, you know, they're going to be a bit scattered and irresponsible. They might not work as hard as the 8. They might be a bit more social, a bit more airy-fairy, a little bit more irresponsible than the 8. But if you understand each other, again, it can work. So the numbers most compatible with the 8 are the 4, the 8, and the 22. Much more serious business numbers. Least compatible are the 3 and the 5, because, to be honest, as I've said, the 3 and the 5 are a little bit too scattered, irresponsible, and frivolous for the 8s. That's just how it is. But, you know, there's always the potential, if you understand each other, that you can be a good couple. Soul urge 3 with a soul urge 9. Now, the Soul Urge 9 is compatible in most relationships. You know, they're a very, very, very developed number. So if you're a Soul Urge 9, you're a caring and compassionate partner. You've got loads of love to give. You're open to the needs of others. You're flexible and very interesting company. However, the 9 can be quite condescending, believing themselves to know better than their partner knows. And because the Soul Urge 3 can be a bit scattered and airy-fairy, this can enhance that in the 9. Oh, it's the 3 being a scatterbrain again. Only I know how I can make them better. So there can be a little bit of that with the 3 and the 9. The 9 Soul Urge as well can give a bit too much, and they need to balance that need to give too much, balance between giving and receiving, because the Soul Urge 3, they love to socialize, they love hedonism, and if the Soul Urge 9 gives them lots, they will take it. I mean, it's in their nature to do that if they're a Soul Urge 3. And then the Soul Urge 9 end up giving too much and getting frustrated, and you know, this could cause issues. The numbers seen most compatible with the 9 are the 3, the 6, the 7 and the 9. So the 3 is seen as a compatible number with the 9. The 3 needs their own creative expression, which there's no reason why the 9 would not give them that. You know, they're not a possessive number. The 3 needs to socialize, and the 9 is quite happy to socialize. They're good around others. They can be a bit distant around others, but you know, they quite like to socialize, and they're not adverse to going out and socializing. So I see them both. They could potentially be a good couple. The 3 might get a bit bored with the 9 at times, and want to do other things or break away from the 9. And the 9 might sometimes shake their head and roll their eyes at a 3, because the 9 does really think that they know better. And they often do. They're a very developed number, but don't they know it? So, you know, that's the only issue I can really see in a Soul Urge 3 and 9 is the Soul Urge 9 may be a bit of an eye roller towards a 3, and the 3 might feel that the 9 isn't all that exciting, but they're really small things. So, you know, in my view, and what it says at the bottom here from what I've read, the 9 and the 3 are quite compatible numbers. Understand each other. That's all you need to do. 9, give the 3 some space. 3, understand the 9's passionate and sometimes explosive way about them, but I'm struggling to see how they might clash too much. Okay, so the 3 and the 9, they're a good mix. But the 3 and the Soul Urge 11. Okay, so the 11 Soul Urge compatibility depends very much on the 3 Soul Urges' patience and understanding. Okay, of their spiritual quest. The 11 is on a spiritual quest, most definitely. And their 3 Soul Urge partner would need to understand that. But the 3 Soul Urge have their own creative quest. And with that, as you can see, one being on a spiritual quest and one being on their own creative quest, they may not understand each other all that well. But if the Soul Urge 3's creativity is very spiritual, then you can see how these 2 numbers could possibly come together. One of the missions, however, for the Master 11 number is to learn lessons relating to creating good relationships. So this means that the 11 finds relationships quite difficult. So this could cause a bit of a snag, because the 3 like their own space too, and it's a relationship between a 3 and an 11 could be quite shaky, because the 11 needs to learn. It's part of their life path to learn how to hold down a relationship. The 11 is most compatible with the 1, the 2 and the 22, and least compatible with the 3 and the 5, because the 3 and the 5 are a little bit too airy-fairy, scatterbrained, adventurous, and maybe will go outside the relationship a little bit more, which would be really, really hurtful to a sensitive Soul Urge 11. So again, this relationship can be a little bit difficult at times, but as long as the 11 understands the 3's ability, the 3's need to get out there and socialize, to have fun, to have time for their own creative expression, and they're happy to keep the relationship fresh and exciting. But the 3 understands the soul urge 11's sensitivity and their need to be spiritual, and that they do struggle a bit with relationships. Then they could possibly work, but often the 3 can be a bit brash and overly intense for a sensitive 11 to deal with. But understand each other. If the 3 understands the 11's needs and the 11 understands the 3 needs, there is a possibility that these two numbers could work, but it would be more difficult. Okay, but it's always possible. Okay, so remember, the 11 is spiritual and sensitive, and they struggle in relationships. They can be quite low in confidence. The 3 is very out there, very social, very creative, and sometimes this could cause a bit of a problem. Either the 3 will latch on to the 11, or they will completely split, because they're two very, very different people. But again, understand each other, and it's a possibility. Okay. Soul Urge 3 with the Soul Urge 22. Okay, so the 22, their compatibility in relationships totally depends on the Soul Urge 3's patience, care, and ability to understand the 22's need for a secure foundation. Okay, as well as the 22's need to be doing good in the world. Now, the Soul Urge 3 isn't the most secure of numbers. They're quite scattered, and they like to have fun. They like to do different things. They like to be a bit irresponsible. And the Soul Urge 22 needs a bit more seriousness and control and security than that. So a 22 can get a bit frustrated with a 3. As a loyal and trustworthy partner, the 22 expects the same loyalty in return. And the 3 won't always give them that loyalty that they desire. But the 22's difficult path means they may not always be able to give as much time and energy into that relationship as the 3 may like. The 22's most compatible matches are the 2, the 4, the 6, and the 22. And again, the least compatible are the 3 and the 5. The 3 likes to be scattered. They like to have fun. They like to socialize. They like adventure. They like to get out there. They like to have time to themselves to express their creativity. But the Soul Urge 2 wants to be a bit more serious and measured about that. They want security in their lives, and they will roll their eyes incessantly at the 3's irresponsible, scattered nature. So again, this relationship can be quite a difficult one. But again, it is possible as long as you both understand each other. Last but not least, the 3 with the 33. Now, the 33 Soul Urge, it swings between highly attentive and affectionate with their partner to needing their own space, okay, which can be difficult. It's not difficult for a Soul Urge 3 to handle, definitely. I've left that in there. Oh my goodness, tell myself off. The 3 needs their own space too. So the 3 and the 33 can work well in that way, because they both need their own space. And if they both share the same creative vision, they could be brilliant together. Okay. The 3 is naturally empathetic, and because the 33 adds up to a 6, it means that family is important to a 33. But the 33 need to nurture their own creativity as well. And the 3 Soul Urge will need to understand this, and I'm sure they will, because the 3, they need to express their own creativity too. So the 3 and the 33 could work well in that way. Okay. They both need their own space. And sometimes the Soul Urge 33 can be a little bit over attentive. Some 3s will love that, but other 3s may sort of push away from that. But other than that, I don't see why a 3 and a 33 couldn't be really good together. They're both similar energies, is one's double the energy of the other. They both need their own space, and they both like time together. The 3 is going to be quite wild. The 33 a little bit less so. because they're much more into the 6 security. So there is always that soul urge 3's possibility to go outside the relationship again, because the soul urge 33 isn't exciting enough. But if you're with a 3 and a 33 that share the same creative vision, this could be an amazing relationship. The 33 is most compatible with the 3, the 4 and the 9, at least compatible with the 1 and the 8. So the 3 and the 33 are possibility a good match. Okay, they are very, very potentially a good match together. Okay, so I hope you've liked my compatibility video today. If you've liked my video, please like my video, click that thumbs up button, and if you want to see more of my content, subscribe to my channel and click that bell icon. If you want to contact me by email, and my website and my email address will be in the description box, together with links to my Facebook, my Instagram, my LinkedIn and my Twitter pages. So guys, remember, as ever, trust the soul within you, listen to your own heart, trust your own intuition, and only listen to what your heart says. Signing off.